Namaste. Namaste. Yes, we are still here. Thousands of years, millions of incarnations later, still here. I'm still trying to figure it out. I don't know, did you see that picture that was on before me? Picture of Maharaj-ji checking the chapatis. He always made sure that the food was prepared properly and with love and care. And he also made sure that everybody who came to the temple got food to eat. He said, you can't talk to a hungry person about God. Feed them first. And that's a very deep statement. It seems so simple, but that's the way he was. He said very deep things in a very simple way. We think, we imagine that we are spiritual seekers, but we don't even know what that means. We want real love, but we don't know where to find it. And our own desires pull us around and push us around and cloud the waters. But at the same time, there's nothing, you can't not be who you are. You can't not live with the stuff that you have to live with. So Maharaj-ji was very clear about some desires should definitely be fulfilled. When you live in the world, you have many things you need to do. You have to take care of your loved ones, you have to feed yourself, and you have to eat, you have to sleep. And you need to have those needs and desires fulfilled. That's why Hanuman-ji is such an unusual path, an unusual being, because Hanuman Maharaj-ji allows us to merge with the state that they are in, that he is in. And that liberates us from our egoistic delusion. And at the same time as that is happening, the desires that we need to fulfill are fulfilled. So right now the desire is for Instagram to work. But sooner or later it will. All right. Pranavam Bhavanukuma Kalabana Pavaka Gyanagan Jasurdaga Basairam Sarachabdhar Atulita Baladham Himshala Badeham Tanujavan Krishan Gyani Nama Graganyam Sakala Guna Nidhana Vanaranam Madhisham Raghupati Priya Bhaktam Atajatam namami Goshpadi Kurtavardisham Mashaki Kutarakshasam Ramayana Mahamalaratnam Vande Nilatmajam Anjananandaram Viram Janaki Shokanashana Kapishamakshantar Vande Lanka Bhankaram Ranga Sindhu Salilam Salilam Yashokavahi Janakatmaja Adatanya Dadahalanka Amamitam Pranjaliranjanayam Manojavam Marutatulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Vardishtam Vatatmajam Vanarutamukyam Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapadhe Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapadhe Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapadhe Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapadhe Anjaneya Mutipatalanana Kanchanadri Kamaniya Vigraham Parijata Tarumura Vasanam Bhavayami Pavamananandanam Yatra Yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam Tatra Tatra Kritamastakhanjali Vashpavari Paripurna Lochana Martinamat Rakshasantakam Guru Bajranga Bali Hanuman Ki Jai Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram. The heater was too hot. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Jai Jai Ram, Krishna Hare, Jai Jai Ram, Krishna Hare, Jai Jai. Jai Jai Ram, Krishna Hare, Jai Jai Ram, Krishna Hare, Jai Jai. Jai Jai Ram, Krishna Hare, Jai Jai Ram, Krishna Hare, Jai Jai. Jai Jai Ram, Krishna Hare, Jai Jai Ram, Krishna Hare. Jai Jai Krishna Hare, Jai Jai Rama Krishna Hare, Jai 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 Rama Krishna Hare, Jai Rama Krishna Hare. Jai Jai Rama Krishna Hare, Jai Jai Rama Krishna Hare, Jai Jai. Jai Jai Rama Krishna Hare, Jai Jai Rama Krishna Hare. Jai Jai Rama Krishna Hare, Jai Jai Rama Krishna Hare. Jai Jai Rama Krishna Hare, Jai Rama Krishna Hare, Jai. Jai Jai Rama Krishna Hare, Jai Jai Rama Krishna Hare, Jai Jai Rama. Jai Jai Rama Krishna Hare, Jai Jai Rama Krishna Hare. Jai Jai Rama Krishna Hare, Jai Jai Rama Krishna Hare. Jai Jai Rama Krishna Hare, Jai Jai Rama Krishna Hare. Rama bolo, Rama bolo, bolo bolo Ram. Rama bolo, Rama bolo, bolo bolo Ram. Hare Rama. Sita bolo, bolo bolo Ram. Sita bolo, bolo bolo Ram. Rama bolo, bolo bolo Ram. Rama bolo, bolo bolo Ram. Hare Rama. bolo, Rama bolo, bolo bolo Ram. Lakshman bolo, Lakshman bolo, bolo bolo Ram. Lakshman bolo, Lakshman bolo, bolo bolo Ram. Yeah, Lakshman bolo. Rama bolo, Rama bolo, bolo Rama. Rama bolo, Rama bolo, bolo Rama. Hare Rama bolo. Sitaram, 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 Jai Sitaram. 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 Sitaram, Sitaram, Jai Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Jai Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. Sitaram, Sitaram, Jai Sitaram. Sitaram, Sitaram, Jai Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Jai Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. Sitaram, Sitaram, Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Nim Karo Baba
Im Karo
Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe. 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 Radhe Govinda Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe. Radhe 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 Govinda. Radhe Govinda. Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe. Radhe Radhe. Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda 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 Radhe. Radhe Govinda. Radhe Govinda. Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe. 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 Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe Radhe Govinda Radhe Govinda Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe 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 Govinda Govinda Radhe 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 Govinda Govinda 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 Radhe Radhe Govinda Radhe Govinda Radhe Govinda Hanumate Namaha Om Hanumate Namaha Om Hanumate Om Hanumate Om Hanumate Namaha Om Hanumate Namaha Om Hanumate Namaha Om Hanumate Om Hanumate Om Hanumate Namaha Om Hanumate Namaha Om Hanumate Hanumate, Om Ham Hanumate, Ham Hanumate Namaha. Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Om Ham Hanumate, Om Ham Hanumate, Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Om Ham Hanumate, Om Ham Hanumate, Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Om Ham Hanumate, Om Ham Hanumate, Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Om Ham Hanumate, Om Ham Hanumate, Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Om Ham Hanumate, Om Ham Hanumate, Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Om Ham Hanumate, Om Ham Hanumate, Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Om Ham Hanumate, Om Ham Hanumate, Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Om Hum Hanumate Namah. Hum is a Bij mantra, B-I-I-J, Bij. Bij means seed. It's a seed syllable. It's a powerful mantra sound in itself that invokes the being that it connected with. And in this case, we're talking about Hanuman. So Hanuman, his Bij mantra is hum. Sometimes it's pronounced hung, not hung, that's something else. Although that's in some Hanuman mantras. But the Om Hum Hanumate, I used to pronounce it Hum Hanumate, but I was corrected very directly. And when I said, but it's written like that, and Mr. Tuai said, you're going to talk to me about books? So, Om Hum Hanumate, Hum Hanumate Namah. All right, let's see if I can find the questions. Oh, I ought to do this first. Hello, connecto. Very good. Okay. Oh boy. Oh yeah, tomorrow morning, you know, it's like a word, it bothers me, but okay, tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock in the morning, there is going to be a very special program, the River Ganga chanting. Deva Pramalan Miten, Snatam, myself, C.C. White, and maybe some others. We're all going to do a little bit of chanting leading up to an arti on the banks of the Ganga in Rishikesh by Swami Chidanand at Paramat Niketan, which is a very beautiful ashram there. And Sadhvi Bhagavati also will be there. And yes, so it starts at 7 a.m. I sing at 7. I think it's changed now. I think it's 7:50. But anyway, sometime in that first few minutes, I'll be singing. I hope I'll be awake. So you can find that all, once again, on krishnadas.com/events. So you can find out where that is. And then on Saturday, if I can get up, the Chai and Chat is going to be there at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay. And then on Thursday, November 25th, Thanksgiving, there'll be a satsang as usual. And yeah, so then the next week, I'll be in Maui, on Maui. We're doing the first retreat, Open Your Heart in Paradise, that we've done since Ramdas has left the body. So that should be powerful. And there will not be a satsang on that Thursday, but there'll be a special edition kirtan from Maui, live with the band. Or not live, but with the band. Maybe it's live, maybe not, but with the band. So you haven't heard that for a long time, except in the Live in New York Volume 2, which is out now. Okay. Can you please talk about forgiveness? It's a beautiful song by the Eagles. Forgiveness, forgiveness. Don Henley sings it. About really fully and completely letting go of past hurts and betrayals. Not just a little bit, really fully and completely. Oh my goodness, that's a very that's a big thing there you want. Really fully and completely. Well, good luck, you know, little by little is what you do. So yeah, forgiveness, it's not something you do to others. You don't really forgive others. The first thing to work on is your own reactions and to let go of the intensity of the emotion, if possible. At least notice in a witnessing kind of way how much that emotion is pushing you around inside. And that's very hard. That's really difficult. And of course, since we feel victimized by other people because other people are being themselves in ways that hurts us, seems to hurt us, we get angry at them. And that's what we do as human beings. We get angry at other people. And of course, on the human level, daily life level, it's reasonable to be angry when you're hurt and to be hurt when you're hurt. You can't up-level it in your head. You can't pretend it didn't happen. If you're hurt, if there's some betrayal, some pain that you're feeling, that's the result of interactions with other people. First of all, you recognize the pain is in you. You can't do anything to change other people. The only place we might get a vote on how we feel is within ourselves. And that's a tough one because we're not used to taking responsibility for our own states of mind. We're always blaming other situations outside of us for causing us pain. Now, we might feel pain based on things that happen with people or situations outside of us, apparently outside of us. But where do we feel it is within? So this is where we have to work on it. There's no sense trying to forgive somebody by up-leveling it in your head. That won't work. But when we can begin to release some of that energy and those negative emotions, painful emotions, then we might see the situation a little differently. We might recognize that even though it looks like we were the target of somebody's negative, painful actions, we might notice that it could have been anybody because it was coming out of that person, because that's who that person is. And once we can begin to let go a little bit of feeling the victim, then we can start to imagine for letting go of the anger for the person, which would be forgiveness. But this is big time stuff. And the only way, well, not the only way, but a very important part of learning how to deal with these kind of issues is doing regular spiritual practice. You can't get around it. This is the only way to really develop the inner strength to let go, the inner clarity to understand what really went on, and the inner kindness to yourself that will allow you to see the other person more clearly and recognize that all the pain that this person caused you came out of their own pain and they are suffering. And if it wasn't you, it was going to be somebody else in the same position. You know, we take everything so personally, we really do, and we can see why. I mean, we're people, so we take things personally. But, you know, you might work in an office and there might be somebody in the office who always has a sour face and never says hello to you, never smiles. And you make up a whole story in your head about this person and why they don't like you and what did you ever do to them and why don't they smile and this and stuff. You know, then you find the guy or the woman has a migraine or has cancer or has some issue that you couldn't have even imagined. And then you realize that you've just made up a whole story that wasn't true. Now, from a very absolute point of view, no story is true that we make up, because we don't live in another person's head. We don't know what another person is really feeling. We don't know what happened to that person. It's like with our parents. We know them as our parents. And if you live long enough and have a long enough relationship with them and you get older, you can learn other things about your parents. You can start to see them as people as well as parents. But we can never know, for the most part, what our parents went through, what their trauma was, what their pain was, what their betrayals were, what caused them to be the way they are and pass this pain on to us. It's not like they wanted to, but they had no choice. On one level, they had no choice. So it's a big thing. But certainly one thing you don't want to do is try to hypnotize yourself into pretending that you forgive someone. No, you want to really be honest and clear looking at yourself and your stuff and see what's going on in there and start to release it little by little. And as the intensity of those emotions fade, there is possibility for letting go of that anger and expanding your heart towards that person who you had seen as an enemy. How do I relate with the negative, the negative, less enlightened aspects of myself? Well, you're looking at it. How do I relate with it? Well, when I judge myself, when I'm angry with myself, when I'm frustrated with myself, when I'm loathing myself, I try to let it go. It's not easy. But the more years and years and years that I've been involved with this stuff, these practices, there's a deepening of the center of gravity and a less attachment and identification with those storylines. But you got to laugh sometimes. We're useless, We think we're such great high beings. We're doing spiritual practice. Yeah, I'm meditating. Oh yeah, great. And then we go out and get pissed off because somebody cuts us off on the road, driving. It just shows you where you're at, which is good. We need to see where we're at. We should not be living in fantasy land, because now is the time that we have to deal with this stuff, to work on ourselves. So. How did Maharaj-ji meet Dada Mukherjee? Well, Dada was one of Maharajji's great devotees. He was extraordinary. He was just fully immersed in Maharaj-ji. And at the same time, he was a leading economics professor in India. And a communist economics professor. In India, communism is not political as much as it's about the economy. So he was a young man. He was in his first years of college, and he went back home to Bengal, to outside Calcutta, for the holidays. And he bought a day pass on public transportation. So with a day pass, for 24 hours, you could go anywhere on the ferries, on the boats, on the trains, the buses. You could go as many places as you want for one price, a very low, a very, very cheap price. So he bought a day pass and he was cruising around, and he thought that he wanted to go up to Ramakrishna's, the temple where Ramakrishna lived in Dakshineswar, which is just up the river from Calcutta, on the river. And he wasn't going as a spiritual seeker. He had no use for spirituality at all, no use for religion, nothing, because he was an intellectual economics professor. So at that time, he was a student. Now, also he was a Brahmin, and his father had initiated him, done a ceremony where he's given his Brahmin thread. And at that time, you're also given the mantra, the Gayatri mantra. Very beautiful, very powerful mantra. And you're initiated in that mantra, and you're expected to repeat that every day a certain number of times. So now what happened was Dada's father died very shortly after giving him the sacred thread. And so to honor his father, Dada continued to do the Gayatri every day. Not because it was spiritual, not because he was doing any practice, but because in memory of his father. So now here's this guy, this college student, cruising around Calcutta. Now he gets on a ferry to go up the river to Dakshineswar to visit this pilgrimage place. So he goes there and he bows to the temple, and then it's the middle of the day in the summer, and it's like 190 degrees, right? Very hot, and it's the middle of the afternoon. So he goes next to the main temple. There's a series of small Shiva lingams, little temples. And I haven't been there, so I haven't seen it, but I think they're only about this high. And inside is a lingam, a Shiva lingam, and there's a number of them in a row, like 9 or 10 or 11, something like that. So and there's this big courtyard right there, and these Shiva lingams are at the edge of the courtyard. So he goes across the courtyard and he bows to the lingam and he bows to the next one, only so he could say he did it, not because he had any spiritual ideas. So he's bowing to this one, he's bowing to that one, and then he turns to go to the next one, and all of a sudden, there's this bulky gentleman standing there. Out of the blue. 2 seconds before, there was nobody there. And now he turned around, and there's this guy. And the guy says to him, "Come here, I'll give you a mantra." And Dada says, "I won't take it. I don't want any mantra." "Nay, come here, I'll give you a mantra. You'll take it." And Dada says, "I will not take it." And they argued back and forth. So finally, basically, just to get away from this guy, he said, "Okay, give me a mantra." And the guy gave him a mantra. And then Dada turned around and bowed to the lingam, and he turns around again, and there's nobody there. This happened in the 30s. So Dada was like, "What? What?" He was like, "What happened?" Anyway, so he finished and then he went home, and that's the story. And he never thought of it again. But because he had promised this person, oh no, I forgot, I'm sorry. So this guy is telling him, "You do this mantra, I'll give you the mantra." And Dada said, "I won't take it." And then this guy says, "When you do your Gayatri in the morning, when you take your bath, then you repeat this mantra." And Dada was like, "How does he know that?" Because he didn't wear a thread. He had no sign on him that he did the Gayatri, that he was a Brahmin at all. And somehow this guy knew that. So that shocked him a little bit. So he said, okay, give me the mantra. So he gives him the mantra, He turns to bow to the lingam. He turns around and there's nobody gone, nobody there. So many years go by, almost 25 years or something. And Dada's now living in Allahabad. He has his own house there, belongs to his uncle, and he's staying there with his wife and an aunt, and maybe his mother. And he meets Maharaj-ji, which is a story in itself. You should read this book called By His Grace. It's a really wonderful book. And these stories are in it. So I won't tell that story, but anyhow, so Dada became a devotee of Maharaj-ji. Just somehow it happened. And after some years, Maharaj-ji used to go away in the winter. He used to come to the house there in Allahabad and then go on pilgrimage. And one year he took Siddhima and her husband, Tularam Shah, with them on this pilgrimage. And when they came back from the pilgrimage, it turns out they had gone to Calcutta and they had visited Ramakrishna's temple in Dakshineshwar. And while they were there, Maharaj-ji casually said to Tularam, "See here, this is where I gave Dada his mantra." So when they returned to Allahabad, Tularam told Dada what Maharaj-ji had said. Dada had no idea that that bulky gentleman that he had met 25 years before was Maharaj-ji. So this is how Maharaj-ji gets his work done. He just does what he has to do. He shows up one way or another, inside, outside. But because Dada, also remember, because Dada said he would do the mantra, he did do the mantra every day. When he was taking his bath and doing, at the same time he did the Gayatri, he would do this mantra because he said so. That's the kind of person Dada was. He was a very unique individual. So that's the story of the first meeting with Maharaj-ji. And the story about of when he meets again Maharaj-ji many years later in Allahabad, that's in the book By His Grace, which you can get. It's on Amazon, or you can get it maybe from the temple in Taos or some other place. But it is a Kindle book too. Somebody's asking, how will I survive getting up early for the upcoming stream from the Ganga? Well, I can do it. Don't worry. When I put my mind to it, I can do it. I don't know what this means. Would appreciate your thoughts on how one can reduce the feeling of imposter syndrome. I'm sorry, but I don't know what that is. So maybe next week or some other time you can explain what it is. Hello from Glasgow, Scotland. 2 questions. Can I sing the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra without being a devotee? I read somewhere you have to be a devotee. If you're singing the Hare Krishna mantra, you are a devotee, but you're not it doesn't mean you've been initiated into any particular lineage. Anyone can sing the Hare Krishna mantra. You do not have to be initiated officially into a particular teaching or lineage or guru. All these mantras, these names of God, are free and clear for everyone. So do not feel like you can't sing them. You can absolutely sing them as much as you can. When I was in India, yes, no, everything I know, my doorway into all this is Maharaj-ji. into the goddess, into Hanuman and Ram, the whole thing. Maharaj-ji, for me, is I entered into all those, all that through Maharaj-ji. And we saw how the Indian devotees treated him. We learned how they saw him. We learned how they saw the other deities and how they approached them, how they worshiped them, what it meant to them. And we absorbed it all. But for me, it was all, Maharaj-ji encompasses all that for me. Nim Karoli Baba for me are all of the above, so to speak. So, but that doesn't mean you see, he is believed to be Hanuman himself. But what does that even mean? I don't know. What does that really mean? I have no clue. But that's something. So there. Did Maharaj-ji ever talk about the importance of worshiping God in the form of the Divine Mother? Absolutely. All the time. He actually, the only other, well, in the temple in Kenchi, the first temple was Hanuman, was Hanumanji's temple. And then later on, Lakshmi Narayan, who is like the manifestation through which Ram and Sita manifest, and Krishna also, and then Shiva Lingam. Those three temples were there. But when we were there, when the Westerners were there in 1972, he actually built at that time a new temple in the courtyard to Durga, goddess Vindhyavasini Durga Devi, a form of Vaishnavi Shakti, the Shakti of Vishnu, there in the temple. And the worship went on. In fact, he made me the priest there for some short time when the temple was first opened. So the goddess is a very big part of my life. And I remember one time somebody asked him something about some other saint. He said, I follow the mother, something like that. So yeah, he knew the goddess. I mean, yeah. And Siddhima, his great devotee, Maharaj-ji himself said she was a manifestation of Durga as well. So there was tremendous goddess presence there. My father is transitioning and wants to be with others on his last days and has asked to come to my home to leave the body, to pass. How can I honor this without the lasting memory etched in my mind and cause me and my family this trauma? The time is drawing near. Your father wants to be surrounded by love. He doesn't want to be alone. That's the greatest gift you could give him, is to allow him to be surrounded by love. And if you open your heart, then the trauma you're worried about won't be the same, won't be like you think it is. Your fears and your worrying about yourself and your family, that's only because you haven't opened your heart. Maharaj-ji said, while your parents are alive, the greatest worship you can do is to serve your parents. He did. But, and if you think about it, we're made up of our parents. They are the agents of karmic transmission. We're made up of their DNA, of their cells. Not to mention all the mishigas that they drop on us as we're growing up. So to have this opportunity to be with your father and drop all your bullshit and really open up and love him and send him off with love is an incredible, amazing opportunity. You are very lucky. Very lucky. Very blessed. So step up to the plate and do the right thing. And there's nothing wrong with dying. It happens to everybody. And your father is asking to send him off with love. What could be better? What could be more healing for you also? Now you're going to have to let go of all your shit and just love this being without whom you would not exist as you are. So good luck. Maharaj-ji did not, it's not that Maharaj-ji, yes, he did prohibit some yoga asanas at the ashram. One time, a woman was doing a headstand in the courtyard, and he stopped her and he said, if you do a headstand and your diet is not very, very sattvic and very pure, the impurities in the food will go into your brain. So he told her not to do it, but none of us were doing asana anyway. We were with God. We didn't do anything. We didn't meditate. We didn't do asana. All we did was stare at Maharaj-ji and sing. Okay. The story of the Hanuman 4 a.m. Hanuman Chalisa is that I woke up in the morning one day, and I woke up at night, and I was dreaming that I was singing that melody. And so it was 4 a.m. So the next day, and I recorded it because I would never remember. So the next day, I listened to it again, and that was the 4 a.m. Chalisa. To tell you the truth, it wasn't the Chalisa, it was the Bajrang Ban, which is another long prayer to Hanuman. But when it came time to record it, I wasn't ready to share that with people. I thought that would be too hard for people. I wanted them to enjoy that beautiful melody. So we did a Chalisa instead. And you know, when we were in the studio, we were all in this room together, me and the whole posse. And we were rehearsing. I was teaching them the melody. And it was so much fun, but we didn't record that. We should have recorded that because that was really great, but we didn't think of it at the time. So, but it's a good one. I love that melody. Okay. Agorebhyo, agorebhyo, ghora ghora, tarebhyo, sarvebhyo, sarva sharavebhyo, namaste astu rudra rupe bhyaha. Tatpurukaya Vidamahe Mahadevaya Dhimahi Tanno Rudraha Prachodayat. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachidananda Murthaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Namah, Shivaya Namah. Shivaya Namah, Shivaya Namah. Shambho Shankara Namah Shivaya. Girija Shankara Namah Shivaya. 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shambho Shankara Namah Shivaya. Girija Shankara Namah Shivaya. Shambho Shankara Namah Shivaya. Girija Shankara Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shambho Shankara Namah Shivaya. Girija Shankara Namah Shivaya. Shambho Shankara Namah Shivaya. Girija Shankara Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shambho Shankara Namah Shivaya. Girija Shankara Namah Shivaya. Shambho Shankara Namah Shivaya. Girija Shankara Namah Shivaya. Om 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 Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Namah. Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Shambho Shankara Namah Shivaya, Hriya Shankara Namah Shivaya. Shambho Namah Shivaya, Hriya Shankara Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Shambho Shankara Namah Shivaya, Hriya Shankara Namah Shivaya. Shambho Namah Shivaya, Hriya Shankara Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Namaha, Shivaya Namaha, Shivaya Namaha. I hope this is it. Shri Guru Charan Saroja Raja Jamanu Mukuru Sudari Varano Raghubara Bimala Jasu Jodaya Kupalachari Buddhihina Tanu Janike Sumiram Pavan Kumar Siaram Pala Buddhi Vidya Dehu Mohi Karu Kales Bekar Syavara Ramachandra Pada Jai Sharanam Jai Jai Hanuman Gyan Guna Sagar Jai Kapisa Loka Ujagar Ramaduta Tulita Baladam Anjani Puta Pavan Sutanam Mahavira Bikram Vajarangi Mati Nivar Sumati Ke Sangi Kanchana Varana Biraj Subesa Kanan Kundala Kunchita Kesa At Bajra Raja Biraj Kande Muja Jane Usad Shankar Suvan Kesari Nandan Eja Pratap Mahajagaban Vidyavan Guni Ati Chatur Ram Kaj Karibeko Atu Prabhu Charta Sunibeko Rasiya Rama Lakana Sita Manabasiya Sukshma Rupa Darisya Hindakava Vikata Rupa Dare Lanka Jarava Bhima Rupa Dare Asura Sanhari Ramachandra Ke Kaj Sanvari Raya Sajivana Lakana Jiyaye Shri Raghubira Hara Shivdalai Pati Kinhi Bahut Barai Tuma Mama Priya Bhartaya Samabhai Sahas Badan Tuma Roja Sagavan Asakai Shri Pati Kanta Lagavan Sanakadika Brahmadi Munisa Narad Sharad Saita Ahisa Kamakubera Digapala Jahante Kabhi ko bid khai sake kahante Tumma upakar sugriva hinkinha Rama milaya raja padadinha Tumaro mantra bibhishana mana Lankeshwara bhai sab jagajan Sahasra jo jana paraban Ilyota imadura palajan Prabhu Mudrika Nilimukamahi Chaladilangi Gai Acharajanahi Durgama Kaj Jagat Ke Jete Sugama Anugraha Tumare Tete Rama Duare Tumarakovare Otana Agya Binu Pesare Sab Sukla Hai Tumhare Sharana Tumhara Chakka Kahu Ko Dharan Apana Tej Samaro Ape Tino Loka Hankaten Kampe Bhutta Sashan Katan Nahi Ave Mahavira Jabanam Sunave Nase Roga Hare Sabapir Japata Nirantara Hanumatabir Katate Hanuman Churave Manakam Bachana Dhyana Jolave Sabba Pararam Tapasvi Raja Tinake Kaja Sakala Tumasaja Or Manorat Joko Elave Sove Amita Jivana Palapave Charon Yuga Partap Tumhara है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियार साधु संत के तुम्हारा कुवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नो निधि के दाता सवर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पास सदा रहो रघुपति के दास Mare bhajan Rama ko paave Janam janam ke dukha bisarave Dakala raghuvar pura jai Jahan janam har bhakt kahai Or devata chitna darai Hanumat se sarv sukha karai Sankat kate mirte sab pira जो सुमेरे हनुमत बलबीर जय 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 Hanuman Gosai, Kripa Karo Gurudev Kinai, Jo Satabar Pat Kar Koi, Chut hi Bandi Mahasukoi, Hoya Par Hanuman Chalisa, Hoya Siddhi Saki Gaurisa, Tulsi Das Sada Hari Chera, Ki Jainat Hriday Mandir, Avanatanaya Sankataharana, Mangalamurti Rup Siyaram, Ramalakana Sita Sahita, Hriday Basar Surabhupa Siyavara Ramachandra Padajay Sharanam, Mangalamurti Marutananda, Sakala Amangalamula Nekanda, Mangalamurti Marutananda, Sakala Amangalamula Nekanda, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Jai Siya Ram Jai Baba Hanuman, Sankat Mochan Kripa Nidhan. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Thanks for coming and singing tonight. This is the way we keep the fire burning. Try to keep that warm glow in the heart alive. So, if we know anything about a path at all, if we know there might be a way to live in this world in a good way, with an open heart, without fear, it's only because of the great beings that have gone before us. Out of their love, out of their kindness, they left some footprints for us to follow. So, in the same way that they wish for us, in the same way that they wish for us, we wish that all beings everywhere, all of us, be safe, all of us be happy, that all of us have good health and enough to eat. And may we all live in peace and at ease of heart with whatever comes to us in life. Namaste, namaste, namaste. Take good care. Much love, many Ram Rams.